Well, hi there. Welcome back. It's been a minute, I've been busy, but it's good to be back with you fellas and fellettes. Today, what I want to do on this episode is get the track and the suspension, everything back into our snow machine. Make it look like a snow machine again. I don't know what it's going to take. I know we got to change the drive cogs out from one axle to the next. There's going to be bearings, there's going to be measurements. Yeah. All right, just going to take some measurements here. Let's go ahead and mark where they currently are with some scoring here. Hopefully this will help me. Probably won't. Okay, so I put marks on the shaft where the old cogs are. I know these are 6 inches apart center to center. These are 5 3/4. So now I gotta get these old ones off with the press, start measuring for the new. All right, let's try to get these off here. Okay, that didn't work. All right, I've been fighting with this. I was able to get the bearing off this side so that I can try to push on this side and make sure I'm actually pushing on what I want to be pushing on here. Something happened. Starting to break loose. All right, finally getting this to break loose. But you can see I put a socket in there. It's starting to come out. I'm gonna keep pressing it out. That's the old ones there. These are the new ones we're gonna use on the old axle. So let me keep pressing these out a minute. And once I get them off, we'll move forward. Can't believe that came out. Holy cow. All right, let me get my puller on here and I'll be back with you. All right, see if we can get this off here. All right, let me just show you how bad this was. I ended up cracking the bearing just by pulling on it and using the impact. Where is it? right there. It's cracked all the way through. Still not coming off, so I'm gonna get a chisel or something and just pound the rest of it off. But that is a rusty mess. There it is. Here's the other cover. Wow. Here's the other end of it. Absolutely destroyed. I'm gonna keep this collar, clean that up. Here's the end. I think it's fine. Take a wire wheel over this, clean the whole thing up, get a new bearing, and we'll go from there. All right, let's get the old cheap poker going here a minute. Boy, she is crusty. Okay, so now what I'm trying to do is measure the center of this, which is 7 5/8. Right? Yep. So we're gonna do 7 5/8, and then 6 inches off that is here, and 6 inches off this is right on this. And then that leaves us 1 3/4. And 1 about 3/4. That's my initial center line that I'm going to use. I think that's where I want the center of these to stop. I'm going to bring this out to the track a minute and line it up on the track and make sure we're in the ballpark. Okay, so I lined them up with the track. It looks pretty much right on. Now I'm going to measure my distance from center to edge, and I'm going to see if I can make another mark so I can see as I'm pressing on when I need to stop. So there's 1 1/8. Let's see, what's a better way to do this? Let's do it this way. So from here to here, 1 1/4. This side's a little bit gumped because of heat, but it's also basically 1 1/4. Yep. All right, so 1 1/4. I'm going to make a mark off of these lines that are centered, and that'll be my stop mark. All right, I got my marks with the permanent I'm gonna do a little scratch just so if it rubs off when I'm pressing it on, I still have an idea where I'm at. Just a little one. Right there. All right, let's go press them on and then see if they line up with the track. All right, about 1 million years later, I got the first one on there. It's pretty good. I won't bore you with the press, but I'm just doing one at a time, pressing it on, adjusting. It takes a minute, but if you're just patient, you'll get there. All right, here you go. Now, if we put it in our track, does it line up? Wow. Like a glove. Yes, sir. We got it. That's a win. Woohoo! Sweet. Now we just got to install our bearing. All right, let's just try to mock this up in here and see if it's gonna fit before we start adding the track and everything. Show you what's going on here. So the problem I'm having is when I go to put this in here, I don't quite have enough room because the cogs are further out on the outside and it's not giving me enough room here. So let me figure something out. Okay, I got it mocked in there with the bearings. Spins nice, but you can see it's not even. Big gap here and not here. Alright, I know it's hard to see back here, but I got everything installed. Like I said, it's spinning good, kind of where I want it. I'm realizing that the center of my drive shaft is not the center of my tunnel. So I'm going to make some measurements, figure out this needs to move this way, which makes sense now because I couldn't get this in because the cogs were in the wrong spot, like they were too far out. Well, it's offset, so one side will probably go in now once I get this set correctly. So I'm going to center it to my tunnel, not to my shaft, and once I get that figured out where it's got to be, then I'm just going to go 6 inches off of the middle to get my edge ones. So let me make some measurements, get this back out, get it on the press, and get it reorganized here. Okay, so that was the edge of my center. So I moved the edge up 3/4 of an inch, measured back from there 2.5 inches, which is the width, and it got me to here. So that's my stop point. All right, well, success. I got it buttoned back up. We got the track in. Everything seems to be, I know it's hard to see under here, guys, but everything seems to be even. It moves freely. It's lined up on there. Really good. Really happy with how that all turned out. So next, what I want to do is get the skid in here. I'm going to use the existing mounting holes in the front because the distance on the two skids from the front to that mounting hole is exactly the same. The dimensions look similar, so I'm hoping it'll just bolt in. The back, we're gonna have to take those plates that we took off the other sled and mount them somewhere in this area, because it's a shorter distance between the mounting bolts on the newer sleds and newer skids. So I think we'll slide the new skid in, bolt it up in the front, and then jack it up and try to mock out where we need to drill some holes. I'll show you the other side here. Put together pretty good. Cleaned it all up in there. Everything seems I don't know. Never done this. It's a Frankenstein sled, you know. Anywho, let's keep rolling on and see what else we can get done. Okay, so because we shortened the width of the skid, everything else has to be shortened, including the mounting bolts. So here we have one here. I went ahead and ran just a regular nut all the way down to clean the threads, make sure I could get them all the way on there. They're pretty rough, but it does. I can get it by hand now all the way down. So we're good. Now what I'm going to do is put the nut on there and cut about 4 threads off each one. Then when I pull the nut off, it'll re-thread the end, hopefully, so I don't screw it up. So let's see what happens. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are making some progress. Let's take a look and see. I got the front bolts on the skid in there, so I kind of have it lined, you know, where we want it. Now we got to mark and measure where our rear brackets are going to go. What do we do with those? They're right here. So these brackets we're going to have to, let's see here. You can see I got the 2 front ones in. Good there. So now we're gonna have to come back here and line up where this bracket's gonna go. Somewhere in there. Something like that. So we're gonna have to drill and rivet just like this one was, but you can see how much further forward we're gonna be now with this skid. So let me get some Sharpie, Mr. Sharpie out and mark where I want those on both sides. I'll do some measurements, make sure we're even. We should be, because the front bolts are in, so the skid should be straight, right? In theory. We'll do some drills, and then we're gonna have to rivet this bracket in. And hopefully it'll sit just like that. It's gonna be really good. up just a little bit more. Let's see. That. Okay, I think what I'm going to do is put this side in first and then do the other side. And hopefully it lines up. Alright, we got aluminum 5/32 rivets, the cheap Stanley rivet gun, and a drill bit. I'm going to mark my bottom holes first, so I'm lined up. See how this goes. Contact. Okay. Now, perfect. Clean them up a little bit. Pretty good. That should work out just fine. I'm gonna scrape off the top a minute. So I think I'll rivet this in the bottom here, and then from the back side we'll bring it up and we'll go through and drill out the other holes as the bracket's right on there. That way I know I'm lined up. So you crank it up a minute. There we go. Clean these up a little bit. See how well our Stanley rivet gun works, shall we? How do we open this thing? Oh, it's screwed in there. So, let's, I think we need the smaller nose piece. The middle one, if you will. Okay. Let's see what happens. There we go. It worked, I think. All right, do 2 more of those a minute. And then we'll see how we do here. It's a little bit off. Just fine thread those in there like that. There we go. It's pretty good. Take you down here and take a look. All right, there's our new ones. Coming through here. Those look pretty good. Now we gotta come in and drill out the rest of them. I know it's hard to see, but from underneath. And once I get that done, I'll bring you back in and take a look. Got a couple more in there. You can see the new ones. Drill died, the battery died, but I'm gonna keep going. I think I am just gonna go ahead and use my mark over on that side and finish this up, find the bolts. We're gonna have to cut the bolts, so we'll do that like we did on the front. And then I think we can put this thing together. I am super pumped to see what this looks like with the track and the new aluminum skid and like everything basically put in that we need in. Super excited. All right, got the other side started. Got my 3 holes drilled. That side's in over there. We're getting close. Yep, sure can. Sure can. Yep. Greasy mess. There we go. There we go. It's looking factory. Nobody will ever know. Except for everybody watching this video, which is like 3 of you. It's perfect. I think it even lines up. Okay. Good there. Good there. I'm gonna finish out 4 or 5 up here. And we're gonna prove that this works one way or another. Let's make some more holes. Need more rivets and that side is done. Here's a look at our other side here. I think that's looking snazzy. Okay guys, this thing looks mean. Look at that stance. It is sitting on its own suspension. Now the bolts are just in a little bit because I want to go get some new bolts and, you know, I want to spend on this a little bit. Get some nice bolts in there. Not really, but they're pretty rusty. We need to update that. So, but I got it in there. It's straight. It's doing the thing. It's doing the suspension thing. I'm super excited about this. So I think we're gonna leave it here for this episode. If you guys want to see more on this Frankenstein vintage sled, make sure you like and subscribe. There's no obligation. Doesn't cost you anything. Helps a guy out. You know, all those good things. So I do appreciate all you guys and gals that have watched this far. And we will be doing more. We got a vintage seat cover over there we need to revive and get on here with some foam. I want to try to polish up this tunnel and see if we can bring that back around. Maybe some of this paint We'll do some paint correction, see if we can get the hood together. We got exhaust modifications we got to make. So much more to come. So stay tuned for that. But for now, we'll see you next time on the OGC.